What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. If you guys were here last year, you know that I covered the Oscars quite a bit on this channel, and I talked about the Golden Globes winners. Never done a predictions video. I've never talked about the nominations before, but I wanted to try it this year because the Golden Globes always seems to be the talk of the town. Even though a lot of people look at it and they're just like, it's not the Oscars. Why do we need to talk about it? But I like awards. I like selecting winners. I like predicting things. So here's what I need from you guys in this video. I need some discussion because, one, I want to be honest with you guys. I'm not that good at predicting Golden Globes winners. Every single year it feels like I predict something. I'm completely off the mark. Oscars, I usually do pretty good, you know, compared to others. I guess not great, but I do okay. Golden Globes, I'm usually not all the way there, so today here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to attempt to give you a winner of each movie category and then give you who I think should win. So a prediction, someone who should win. Now, when it comes to television, I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen a lot of shows on this list, so I will go through them, I will talk about them. But in terms of predicting a winner, if I haven't seen the majority of the television shows, I don't think that's fair to you guys, but I still want to talk about them. But we're going to start with film since this is going to be the big portion of this video. Once again, some discussion down below. If you enjoy videos like this, if you think I should do something like this for the Oscars, let me know, smash that thumbs up button, we'll definitely do it. But let's start with Best Foreign Language Film. And I find this interesting because we actually had The Farewell on here, and this is something that probably will not get nominated for foreign language in really any other award show, but we had The Farewell, Les Miserables, Pain and Glory, Parasite, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I am dying to see Portrait of a Lady on Fire, but of all the ones that I've seen on this list, I think everyone's going to go with Parasite, who they think should win, and Parasite, who will win, right? It's really the one that I've seen that stands out to me, and like I said, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, it's the one that I want to see. It's the one that I'm just dying to get a hold of. As soon as I do, I may update this, but as of right now, Parasite, it's my winner, and it's the one that I think should win. Next up, we have Best Animated Feature, and I want to talk about this for just a second because seeing The Lion King in there is very interesting. The whole argument online for a long time was The Lion King an animated movie? Is it not an animated movie? Well, the Golden Globes clearly believes it's an animated film. My big issue is I just don't think The Lion King belongs there. And here's the reason why, is I watched a movie on Netflix called I Lost My Body, and I believe that is a better film than a few movies on this list, but I definitely believe it's a better film than The Lion King, so I think that's a snub. I also think Klaus is a snub, another Netflix film that I think is beautiful. It's an instant Christmas classic, but they're not really pushing that for anything, and it's really such a shame. Regardless, out of all of these movies nominated, I have to go with Toy Story 4 as the one that I think should win because it's my favorite on this list. Now, a very close second for me is How to Train Your Dragon: A Hidden World. I thought this movie was fantastic, and I actually believe How to Train Your Dragon may steal this one. And here's why, because this is really the end of this franchise as far as we know and as far as everyone knows. Whereas Toy Story 4, it definitely feels like an end to Woody's story, but I don't think it's the last time we're going to see this franchise. And if one has to continue, I think they're both going to inevitably, but if one has to continue, I think it's Toy Story. So because it's the final film in this beautiful trilogy, a trilogy that hasn't really been recognized as much as Toy Story, I think How to Train Your Dragon will end up being the winner, even though I'm going to slightly go with Toy Story 4 as my prediction who should win. Next up, Best Song. We have Stand Up from Harriet, Spirit from The Lion King, Into the Unknown from Frozen 2, I'm Gonna Love Me Again from Rocket Man, and Beautiful Ghosts from Cats. Well, I haven't seen Cats yet. Out of all of these, I have to go with Into the Unknown from Frozen 2 as my prediction and as the one that I think should win. Into the Unknown, regardless of what you think about the movie, I thought was a wonderful, a phenomenal song. I don't think Spirit, the brand new song from the new Lion King, is one that's going to compete. I'm Gonna Love Me Again from Rocket Man was pretty fantastic. Now, the one that I think could go in there and steal this away from Into the Unknown is Stand Up from Harriet, because that's a wonderful song. But Into the Unknown is my prediction in both categories. Next up, Best Score. I really love this category. The one that kind of stands out for me, and I get it, it's an okay score, but it's Motherless Brooklyn. a strange choice to throw in there, just because the movie was not received as well, I think. But I love the score from 1917, Marriage Story. Have yet to see Little Women, but Joker's score, say what you will about the movie, Joker's score is fan-freaking-tastic. Out of all of these, I'm going to go with... it's really hard not to pick the Joker for either one because I think the score, it's one of my favorites of the year. Randy Newman's score for Marriage Story was also phenomenal. I mean, a lot of people, I've seen some complaints about it, that it just doesn't fit the tone, but it made it feel, and obviously he's a Pixar guy, it made it feel like a live-action Pixar movie, which I think is fantastic. But I have to go 1917 for both here. I think 1917 will end just because it's this epic, sweeping score that does nothing but amplify the emotions of the film. And I'm going to go with it as my winner as well because 1917 for me was an experience that I will never forget, and a lot of that has to do with the music that swells in the background, but it's also really subtle when it has to be, and it disappears at times. And that's what I think is the definition of a best score, one that does nothing but amplify the story, the source material, whatever you're dealing with. So I have to go with that as my pick for both, but Marriage Story, Joker, like I said, I've yet to see Little Women, but I'm sure that score is great. Regardless, this is a very tough category. Another category that's very difficult is Best Screenplay. The Irishman, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Parasite, The Two Popes. Now, The Two Popes is one that stands out for me because that has been getting, from what I've seen, a bit of a mixed reception, not necessarily on Rotten Tomatoes, but I use Letterboxd, and not everyone on Letterboxd has loved that movie. That's the only one on here that I haven't seen. But Best Screenplay for me is one that I personally have to give to Marriage Story. So Marriage Story is what I believe should win, but we're talking barely over Parasite, which is what I believe will win. I think Parasite takes this one home just because it's a movie that really is game-changing. I don't argue with anyone that says Parasite is their favorite movie of the year. I just don't argue that. And a lot of the reason here is because of how incredibly just, deep this screenplay is and how it constantly defies all expectation of what's going to happen next. I'm just going with Marriage Story as a personal choice because that's the one that really broke me down, man. I mean, this movie was so emotional, and it's the dialogue, and it's where this story goes, and how they handle certain decisions for the characters. There's a moment at the end where Adam Driver gets up in front of people and says something into a microphone. I don't want to spoil exactly what he does, but that moment was phenomenal. I think a lot of that has to do with the screenplay. A great category, though. I mean, guys, this is really a tough decision for every single category. Next up, Best Director. We have Bong Joon-ho for Parasite. Sam Mendes, 1917. Interesting. Todd Phillips for Joker. Martin Scorsese for The Irishman, and Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think the bottom two are obvious. I think Sam Mendes for 1917, a bit of a surprise for me, but a welcome surprise. Of course, obviously, Bong Joon-ho for Parasite. This ad's just freaking out over here. And then Todd Phillips for Joker. Here's what I'll say. I think Noah Baumbach deserves to be on this list. I really do, for Marriage Story. That's the one major snub for me. And because of that, if I had to remove anyone off of this list, and it's really unfortunate to say it, I would actually choose between Tarantino, and not because I didn't love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I would choose between Tarantino and Todd Phillips for Joker. I just think Noah, what he did with Marriage Story is freaking phenomenal. But I'm not going to complain as much as I think a lot of people will for Todd Phillips because I thought Joker was really, really great. I mean, obviously, you're going to look at this and you say, Austin, why are you talking about Golden Globes? You're a comic book crazy person. And I kind of am. But I also love movies, and I love what movies represent. So I'm not going to sit here and be biased towards comic books, even if I didn't think they would deserve it. I think Todd Phillips deserves to be on there, but I've seen everything on Twitter. What is Todd Phillips doing there? Sure, I get it. In terms of picking a winner here, even though 1917 I have a tiny bit higher as a movie that I prefer over Parasite, and that's like selecting which child is my I make this comparison all the time, but 2019 has been such a difficult time making a decision on which movie I prefer over the other because I think Parasite and 1917 are both phenomenal films. And honestly, the quality is probably there a bit more with Parasite, and that's why I'm going with Bong Joon-ho as both of my picks. I'm going with the one that I want to win. I'm going with Bong Joon-ho as I think who will end up winning, just because what he did with that movie is outstanding. I mean, outstanding. the way that he handled it and crafted, and I think they're going to give it to him. I really do. I think Parasite deserves to win this category, and I think Parasite will win with Bong Joon-ho as the director. Next up is Best Film Supporting Actress. Annette Bening for The Report, Laura Dern for Marriage Story, Jennifer Lopez, Hustlers, Margot Robbie, Bombshell, Kathy Bates, Richard Jewell. So Laura Dern is really, she's sweeping so far. Not sweeping, but she's been winning quite a bit so far. My pick is probably going to end up being Laura Dern, who will win just because she's been winning a lot in other award ceremonies. But here's my thing about Laura Dern in this movie. Laura Dern is not even my favorite supporting actress in this film. I actually prefer the sister and the mother's storylines and how they assist the story over Laura Dern. And not that Laura Dern did a bad job. I mean, she's fantastic. I love everything that she does. I think she will win. My choice is actually Jennifer Lopez for Hustlers on who should win. And here's why. I liked Hustlers. I didn't love Hustlers. This is my favorite Jennifer Lopez performance. Okay, Celine is my favorite. But supporting, this is my favorite Jennifer Lopez supporting performance I've ever seen. I really enjoyed her in the film. I think what she does, like I said, is really magnificent. I think she should win, but I think Laura Dern is going to take that category. Next up, Best Supporting Actor, Tom Hanks for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Anthony Hopkins in The Two Popes, Al Pacino for The Irishman, Joe Pesci for The Irishman, and Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now, both of my choices here are going to be from The Irishman, but I am going to go Joe Pesci as who will win. I think it's between he and Brad Pitt. They've been going back and forth in other award ceremonies, but I think Joe Pesci will win just because I'm like, they want to give it to Pesci. Pesci's returning. He's not really been recognized as much as everybody thinks he has been in these award ceremonies. But I'm actually going to choose Al Pacino for who should win. I don't think he will. I think it's between Pitt and Pesci. But Pacino stole that movie for me. The second he comes on screen, and it takes a bit before he gets there, but the second he comes on screen, he really amplifies, he assists that entire movie, and his energy is infectious, and I just loved his performance. His first time working with Scorsese, and in my opinion, he knocks it out of the park, but either one you want to choose, out of those bottom three, really. Once again, Tom Hanks was phenomenal in A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I haven't seen The Two Popes yet, but out of those three, I think Al Pacino should win. I think Joe Pesci will win. Best Film Comedy Musical Actress. So this is a lead actress in a comedy musical. Awkwafina for The Farewell. Ana de Armas for Knives Out. Cate Blanchett for Where'd You Go, Bernadette? Didn't see that. Beanie Feldstein for Booksmart. Love it. Emma Thompson for Late Night. Love it. My winner is the same in both categories. Even though Ana de Armas is close for Knives Out, I almost went with her on who should win, but I think Awkwafina's got it. Awkwafina's got it and who will win. Awkwafina's got it and who should win. Her performance is phenomenal. In my opinion, that's an easy one for me. Enough said. Best Film Comedy Musical Actor. Daniel Craig, Knives Out. Roman Griffin Davis. Nice to see Roman Griffin Davis. Very surprising for Jojo Rabbit, but it's nice to see that. Leo for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Taron Egerton. Rocket Man, Eddie Murphy, and Dolomite is my name. Yeah, I think Leo's got this one. You know, it's really nice to see some surprises in there. Taron for Rocket Man, Eddie Murphy for Dolomite. But I think Leo's going to take this one home. I think he should take this one home out of all of those performances. But once again, Roman Griffin Davis and Daniel Craig. Nice to see both of those names in there. I think they deserve it. Daniel Craig comes close for me, though, on who should win, because he really did. He almost stole that entire film. He did a phenomenal job. Here we go. Best Film Comedy Musical. Dolomite is my name. Jojo Rabbit. Knives Out. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Rocket Man. I wanted to see Booksmart in there. I really did. But out of all of these films, come on, man. It's going to be Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's the one that will end up winning. Now, what should win? I'm honestly between Jojo Rabbit and Knives Out. I love all three movies, don't get me wrong. Rocket Man and Dolomite, I really enjoy those films. I think they're really good, but I think the quality of Jojo Rabbit, Knives Out, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, they're just higher. I'm actually going to go with Knives Out as the one that I think should win. I just don't think that'll take it. I think they're going to reward Tarantino for what he did with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So, should win. Knives Out. Will win. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Love all three of those films. Best Film Drama Actress. Cynthia Erivo, Harriet, Scarlett Johansson, Marriage Story, Saoirse Ronan, Little Women, Charlize Theron, Bombshell, Renee Zellweger, Judy. Now, this is tough. This is tough because Renee Zellweger is the one that everyone's been hyping up and talking about. I think Scarlett's going to do it. I think Scarlett's going to do it both ways. I want her to win for Marriage Story. I think she will win for Marriage Story. It's really hard to put her over Charlize and Saoirse Ronan for Little Women and Bombshell, but I think Scarlett is going to take this prize. Marriage Story, her performance was phenomenal. Say what you will about her, man. This is the best year I've ever seen from her. Jojo Rabbit, Marriage Story, I think both of those things combine to where she will win, and she is my pick for who should win. All right, we're almost there, guys. Best Film Drama Actor, Christian Bale, Ford v. Ferrari, Antonio Banderas, Pain and Glory, Adam Driver, Marriage Story, Joaquin for The Joker, and Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes. Have not seen The Two Popes, so I can't really speak on Jonathan Pryce. It's nice to see Antonio Banderas in there for Pain and Glory. Man, I'm so upset that Adam Sandler did not get in for Uncut Gems. Now, Uncut Gems is really the last major Oscar contender that I need to see. I am rooting for him because I love the guy, but just not to see his name in there is a bit disappointing. Regardless, it's hard for me to go against Adam Driver and Marriage Story just because that's top 3 movies of the year. I think this goes to Joaquin, and I'm going to slightly say it should go to Joaquin. Look, his performance in Joker, once again, say what you will about the movie, his performance in Joker is astounding. It's astounding. He's in every frame of that movie almost. It carries the entire film. I'm going to slightly put him above Adam Driver on who should win, and I think he will end up taking it. But my goodness, guys, that is such a difficult decision. Best Film Drama, The Irishman, Joker. Wow, I can't believe Joker got in there. Marriage Story, 1917. The Two Popes. Okay, The Two Popes. Yeah, I'm going 1917. Very close second. Well, for me, very close. Gosh, I could say that about... 4 out of those 5 movies are in my top 10 of the year right now. 4 out of those 5 films. Isn't that incredible? I'm going to go 1917, just because out of that bunch right now, it's my favorite. Marriage Story, close. The Irishman, close. Joker, close. I think 1917 should win. Now, who will win? I think The Irishman wins it. I think Scorsese gets it. I just think that's who they're going to push for. Not that I'm upset about either one of those things because, once again, I love all of these movies regardless. This is a very difficult category. Okay, we've talked about all of the films. I do want to hit on some of the television things really quickly. So for television, like I said, I don't want to hit on these too hard just because, I feel like it's unfair for me to give my opinion because I haven't seen a lot of these shows. I have seen a lot of them. I ended up watching Barry, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I watched The Politician. Maybe I've watched more than I thought I watched, but I still don't feel like I can give a fair opinion on television, but I do want to run down just the major ones. So best comedy series, I want to talk about Barry, Fleabag, The Kominsky Method, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, The Politician. I did see 3 of those. Have yet to see Fleabag. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is one that I really, really enjoyed this season of. I liked The Politician, but I think it's going to end up going to Barry. Comedy actor, comedy actress. Just to pick a winner from each of the ones that I've seen, I think it's going to be Bill Hader for Barry. I think it's going to be Rachel Brosnahan for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Although, watch out for Phoebe Waller-Bridge in Fleabag because I'm hearing a lot about her. Best Drama Series, Big Little Lies. It's interesting that one got in. I heard this season wasn't as good as the other season. The Crown, Killing Eve. The Morning Show. Apple Plus gets a nomination. Succession. I watched Succession this season. There's your winner. If they know any, there's your winner, because that show is easily one of the best on television. For best actor, Kit Harington's, he may win it. Rami Malek, obviously he's a big name for Mr. Robot. I think it's going to go to Brian Cox for Succession because, once again, that's the one that I'm pulling for in everything. I'm a bit biased. Best TV Drama Actress, once again, Apple Plus getting the nomination. Olivia Colman, The Crown. Reese Witherspoon was great in The Morning Show, but I'm probably going to go Nicole Kidman for Big Little Lies. Haven't seen this season, but I've just heard she was really great, even though, once again, the season is one that didn't work as well for a lot of people. Catch-22, it's nice to see that nominated for Best TV Movie Limited Series. Interesting that When They See Us didn't get in there. Interesting. Unbelievable, a great miniseries. I have to go with Chernobyl. That's one of the best seasons of television I've ever seen. Best TV Movie Limited Series Actor. The ones that I've seen, I'm going Jared Harris in Chernobyl, but Sam Rockwell, it's nice seeing him in there for Fosse Verdon, which I've heard great things about. Best TV Movie Limited Series Actress. My winner, gosh, Merritt Wever did so good. I've heard great things about Joey King. I am going with Michelle Williams because from what I've heard, she steals that show, but do not look past Caitlin Dever for Unbelievable. Best TV Supporting Actor. It's going Stellan Skarsgård because that's the name, Chernobyl. But do not look over Kieran Culkin for Succession because he steals that entire season almost. And then Best Supporting TV Actress. My winner is, I love Toni Collette. Don't think she did it. Man, I'm going to pick Meryl Streep. Just if I'm making a prediction, she always wins. So, I mean, I've got a good shot to win that one. But like I said, guys, didn't want to focus as much on the television just because I've watched the majority of these movies. But my goodness, guys, my goodness, what a stacked year. A lot of snubs, a lot of interesting snubs that I think are going to have a lot of people on edge. Look at the fact that there was no Robert De Niro for The Irishman. That was a bit of a shocker when you have Al Pacino and Joe Pesci. Zhao Shuzhen, did I get that right, from The Farewell? That was a bit shocking. Lupita Nyong'o, I was surprised to see her name not in there. It was nice to see Taron Egerton, like I said. Parasite getting the nods, Knives Out getting the nods, Roman Griffin Davis, that was really cool to see him in there. Awkwafina in there as well, that was awesome. And then, of course, Jennifer Lopez, who I think will end up winning that category. Lion King was a bit shocking for me. There's no cats in there, which is, I don't know if that surprises me or not. I don't know what direction that movie's going. And then the big shock for me in television, just to speak upon that, is lack of Euphoria, a lack of Zendaya, maybe a little lack of diversity in general. I don't want to start going down that path because I know a lot of people will turn off this video immediately, but just a lack of diversity. You know, the one that I forgot about, probably my biggest snub of the evening, was Noah Baumbach for director. I was shocked he didn't get in the way that he directed that film. Regardless, I don't want to sit and complain. This was my Golden Globes video. Thank you all so very much for tuning in and watching and just having some fun with me. I mean, these videos, I do them because I love them. You know, I don't think I'm going to get my predictions right because I never do for the Golden Globes. They always surprise me and shock me. Regardless, thank you guys for tuning in. You're truly the best. Everything that you do for me, it really means a lot to me. And like I said, if you enjoyed this video, if you can leave it a thumbs up, it really helps out this channel. And it tells me you want more awards coverage. Just talking about movies, man. That's what we love doing. A lot of top 10s coming this week, a lot of ranking videos, and I'll see you all soon.